Hello everyone, Tamara Delk's Stampin' Up demonstrator here on the Gold Coast in Australia. Today I have another project that I would like to show you, as well as some tips to share as well. This is the card that we'll be doing. I will be changing it up slightly. But before we get started, if you don't have a current demonstrator and live here in Australia and would like to view the range Stampin' Up have to offer, I will leave a link in the description below where you can find my online store. My host code for the month of May is HHHSHFMR. Use this code when placing an order under $250 in my online store, and I will send you a free gift at the end of May. If your order is over $250, you'll be able to earn rewards and you will be prompted to use those rewards at checkout. If you are interested in joining my team, either as a hobby demonstrator or earning a supplementary income, I will also have a link in the description. If you would like to know more or have any questions, you can email me at tamaradilks@gmail.com. Now, let's get started on our project. I have a little kit here that I've prepared. I have already die cut some things. We'll just do some stamping so that we can get this video together a little bit quicker today. Okay, so to start with, I have used a portrait card base, and we are going to die cut the shape out of that. Now, how I've done this is, I'll get my post-it tape. I just bring the border right to the edge. Now, I butt it up alongside there, so it's up there nice and firmly, but not on the paper. So I'll do that, make sure there's no gaps and it's nice and straight. Bring this side down and this side as well. Then I pop that through my die cutting machine. And what you will end up with is a card that opens like this. So that I've already die cut for you. Next, we want to cut out a sheet of designer series paper. Now, this is the second largest die in the die set, which is your Countryside in Sweet. And these are the dies here. And here's a tip for you. These promotional magnets that you get from real estate agents or wherever with calendars and that on them, keep those because you can use them as magnets. I'm just going to have to chop this down to fit into my folder, and then I just pop them in there once I've cut it down. Also, your it will blunten your blade, so I always keep a spare blade that I use only for cutting my magnets. And it's really easy to get these blades in and out if you don't know already. Now, where is the little mark? Okay, over here, there is a little notch. And what you do is you just get your blade on that little notch and it just slides out like that. To get your blade back in, just pop it in there. Okay. Now, once we have this panel, what we will need to do is stamp the outside image. Now, I did this one freehand and I got lucky. On the inside, I wasn't so lucky, so it really came right to the edge, but I also have another way to do this, so I'll show you that now. But I just, if that does happen and you've only got you don't have any stamp positioning tools and it does happen, just do it on another sheet of paper and then die cut and then glue it on like I have done here. But what I'm going to show you, I'm using my Stamparatus. If you've got a Stamp-A-Majig, that will work as well, or any other repositioning tool, stamp positioning tool. Now, I am using the stamp set that comes with the Countryside in suite, and it's called Countryside Corners. So I've got my stamp here. What I've noticed about when putting this in, we want to butt it as far up as we can to there. When we close it, if it moves, it usually moves just a little bit down from the top there. You will want to keep that there. So I just use some temporary adhesive. Take the lid off, just on the back, just to hold that in place. Now make sure I put that all the way to the end. Make sure that's, got to move that up a bit. And I know it's all the way to the right and probably down on this line. Yes, perfect, just in case that moves. Okay, now the easiest way I found to stamp this particular stamp set is with our Stampin' Write markers, and I used the brush tip end. It has the thicker line here. This is the fine 0.1 on this end, and you will see by that line there. This is the thicker brush line. I have something on my, and I found it easier and less messy. I had my hands so full of ink the other day from doing this, not with this. And I'll just put that under there to help. Now what I do with the Stampin' Write marker is I go down and back up and back down again. And I do that all the way around. Just like this. I'm using Misty Moonlight here. And then I'll just stamp that straight down there. Whoops. I just hold it on there for a few seconds and push down all the way around the stamp, making sure I'm getting a good impression. And then we'll open it up. Look at that. Great print. Now all I have to do is remove the adhesive. Now, with your red stamps, you don't need to use the foam mat. I actually had the foam mat in here and it stamped fine. All right, I'll use my Stampin' Chamois to remove the ink. Now I found it's important to go both ways with your Stampin' Chamois to remove the ink from all the edges. Okay. I'll leave that there because we'll actually need this a little bit later on, I think. Actually, we can do that now. While it's there, I should have thought about that, shouldn't I? What I'll do is I'll just use some temporary adhesive again. Pop that down to this line and all the way to the right. And we'll do the same thing again. And this time I haven't used the mat, so it may actually go all the way to the top and bottom, which it does. Okay, there's another hint for you. Let's ink this up again, and this once again is Misty Moonlight. Okay. Now I'm ready to stamp that. Oops, not quite. This is the good thing about the Stamparatus or any stamp repositioning tool. So we can come back and get a better impression. I'm just going to go right around the whole lot again, just to make a nice crisp image. Okay. Here we go again. Make sure I get that corner. Press really hard down on that corner. And it hasn't worked. Okay, I think I need to use the mat with this one. Oh no, there we go. Now it won't matter that I have little marks here because I'm going to add another layer later on. So we'll just take that off, remove our adhesive. And clean my stamp. There we go, all nice and clean. Now I can remove that and put this over here. Now at this stage, what we can do to the front is adhere our panel. Make sure that as this paper is directional, it's facing the right way. I'm just going to use my liquid glue for this. And glue that down, leaving an even border around the edge. That's why I like to use the liquid glue. You just get a little bit of movement before you can really press it down. Next, I'm going to make this border. Now what I've found, the easiest way to do this is stamp first. Now I haven't cut myself. Oh, here's a piece here. There we go. And what I'm using is I'm using Balmy Blue and Misty Moonlight, both in the Stampin' Right markers. So I'll start off with the inside and we'll do that in our Balmy Blue. And then our Misty Moonlight. Oops. Now I think I got some of the Misty Moonlight on the inside of this stamp, so I'll just give that a bit of a clean where I think it's transferred over. And go back over and do that one again. Okay, I did have my large block out, but I don't have it anymore. So I'm just going to press that down there. Hopefully that didn't move. Give it a little bit of a press and lift it straight up. Oh, beautiful. Okay, now I get, you can either stamp the inside, and what I've used is from the Sentimental Park, I have used the Let's Celebrate stamp there. So let's get that out. We'll get the Stamper Artist or Stamp-A-Majig or other stamp positioning tool and line that up where you want it. And I actually, because this is the clear stamp, I will need to use this. So here we go again, lining that up. There we go, that looks good to me. And this time I find it easier to use my stamp pad, and I just have a little Stampin' spot here. Ink this one up in Misty Moonlight. And then stamp that. Now let's have a look. There you go, perfect impression. Clean off my stamp. Pop it back before I lose it. And then what you will do is you will use, well, not the smallest banner one, not the smallest frame, but the next one up. Once again, I just position that there, use my post-it tape, right across to keep that there, then go and cut that like this. Here's one I prepared earlier. Now I will go through and cut this a little bit later on because that gives me an extra sentiment that I can use on another card. Okay, now that we're finished with that, I will get out my Stampin' Dimensionals. And I want to pop this up on the front of the card. One in each of the corners. And then one there. One on the other side. Take off my little bits. And how I've positioned this is the corner fits in that corner really nice and easily. So what I'll do is I'll just lay that down. I won't push it all the way down yet until I've got this side lined up. And there we go. Next thing I've done is I've already die cut the foliage here. Now I've cut that out of did I cut that out? I thought I cut it out of the Cheerful Daisies, but oh yes I did. I'm thinking I don't have the die there, but I've got one here that's already stuck in there. So I wanted to show you how I just go about getting those out of there, and it was cut with the Cheerful Daisies die set. So all I've done with these, I've already got two here, and I've got this one. I just pop that center out just with my scissors, because the Stampin' Up scissors, they're really nice and sharp. and they fit inside these little holes. So I just go 1, 2, you'll sort of feel a click, and then that bottom one, and there you go. Pops it out, as easy as that. Okay, now what I've done with this, with the leaves, is I have used my Stampin' Blends. Don't know what's on that. Just give that a clean, make sure it's not going to transfer onto my card. And I don't want Misty Moonlight. I want to use the Balmy Blue. And all I'm going to do is get a little bit of ink, tap it off, don't brush it off, tap it off, and just go over those edges a little bit. If you want it more blue, add a little bit more blue. If you want less blue, add less. Just do that however you like. And there's the first one done. And the second one, I've actually gone and used the reverse side. I didn't realise I'd done it, and on close inspection you can see, but no one's really going to know. And then do it to the last one. Oops. And look at that, I think I've done both of those on the reverse side. That's okay, no one's going to know. Okay, pop my ink aside, rub everything I can off my brush. Grab my liquid glue and just start adhering these down. Now the first one, the bunny's positioned in a different spot to here. So I've sort of positioned it so I'm not covering up those bunnies. So I think we'll do the same thing here. I think that looks good there. And then this second one. I can pop in there, that's pretty good. There's that one. I can just break a bit of this off because I don't need all of that. Pop that in there. Oops. Now I've got another little bit I can add over here if I wanted to. Might add that bit down underneath. Yes. There we go. And then we've got one more bit. Oh, fingers have got glue on them sticking everywhere. And I'll just break this one up and place bits here and there. Let's have a look at this one. I'll need to cut that down. paper in there. I've still got some more pieces here. Maybe I'll have this one go up here. That's it. And then this one down in here. There we go. Now on this card you can see I've added these iridescent pearl basic jewels, but on this card I've decided to use these ones in Balmy Blue, which is the 2023 to 2025 in colour dots. Yes, so I thought I'd use these Balmy Blue ones. Oops, the first one here. I'll use each size. There's small, medium and large, so I think, yeah, I'll use a combination of those. 2 and one more. I like it down there. There we go. Now for the inside of the card, what I've done is cut out the second largest size of the die, and I've just gone around and used Balmy Blue and sponged it all around the side. So I'll just make sure I've got the right colour. Now, as you can see, I'm just starting off very lightly. And if I want it darker, then I just go around another time. There we go. Now I just go through and adjust where I think I want a bit deeper colour. You can blend as much or as little as you want. Okay, I think I'm done there with the blending. And lastly, what I did is I used the Stamp Set two-tone Flora, and I've used this leaf design. Pop that on my block. Bring my Stampin' Spot, and this has Misty Moonlight on it. Now just work out which one you want at the top and which one at the bottom. I think this one has a little bit darker, so I'm actually going to put that down there. So I'm just going to stamp up here. And then I'm going to do that again down in the bottom right hand corner. So I only need to stamp up the top of that image. Bring her about there. Now, of course, you don't need to use the two-tone flora stamp set here. You can use any stamp set, any foliage that you've got, any flowers. I just think it adds a little bit of extra to the inside of the card. And the final thing we need to do is just glue this to the inside. Use any adhesive you like. Once again, I like being able to reposition with the liquid glue. I have that little bit of movement with it. And all of these marks will hopefully be covered up. Look at that. No one would ever know. Make sure she's pressed down. And there's our beautiful card. So let's celebrate. Thank you everyone for watching, and I should have another video for you very soon.